afternoon, Mr. O'Leary.
Hi. Thank you for being here. My name is Richard O'Leary, and I'm a retired deputy chief for the Manchester Police Department. I served for 33 years, and I enjoyed it immensely. I come before you today in regards to Senate Bill 463-F, and I support this bill to go forward. I have three things I'd like to discuss today. The first is the Stephen Avery case that we've all heard about through the Netflix documentary, The Making of a Murderer. In a nutshell, this is about a man serving 18 years in prison for a crime he did not commit. He was not only cleared of the crime through DEA testing, but an inquiry that followed, it was discovered that there were a lot of mistakes made during the investigation and trial that ultimately sent him to prison. After Avery was released from prison, he was charged with a murder in a different case. When Avery was charged the second time, two filmmakers spent 10 years reviewing the case, which led to this Netflix documentary. An incredible amount of resources, time, attention was focused on this case. What this documentary shows is that the judicial system in this country is flawed. The documentary is chilling, and it is thought of being, or the thought of anybody being in prison for 18 years is something that nobody can actually think about. At least in the Stephen Avery case, he was found innocent and was released from prison. Had he been executed, it would have been final. We cannot free someone from the grave if and when we later discover that they're innocent. Secondly, I don't deny an individual's emotions and desires for retribution on a heinous crime. It's natural for victims to be angry and want revenge. But our judicial system is based on justice and the protection of the innocent in our society. It's not about conducting state-sanctioned revenge killing. I believe that the application of the death penalty for heinous crimes is inherently flawed and not fixable. I believe life without parole is the most appropriate punishment for these crimes. I actually prefer the term death in prison. Whatever you choose to call it, a life sentence leaves time to correct mistakes made in our criminal justice system, mistakes that too often convict and even execute innocent people. My final comment is regards police leadership and the relationship to public safety, to officer safety, and the justice of everyone. I've had the pleasure of working with and knowing many members in the law enforcement community. These individuals are in positions of authority who can make decisions for their departments and their communities. I have asked several of these individuals privately what their thoughts on the death penalty were. And several have told me personally that they do not support it. Those same individuals feel that professionally they have to publicly support the death penalty because of the positions they hold and because of those that they lead. The enthusiasm for the death penalty is dying out in New Hampshire, the rest of the country, and throughout the world. I would just ask, please join me in supporting this bill. Thank you for listening. I just have one other editorial comment on my own volition here that I just thought of. I'm sure we read the papers today about the opiate problem in the state of New Hampshire and what elected officials are trying to do to solve a huge problem, a deadly problem. I couldn't help but think of this committee here and the death penalty. And the big headline in the newspaper was, this is about real people dying. This is in reference to the opiate addiction, real people dying. But by the same set of whatever circumstances are used, it can be innocent people dying for this death penalty. The other thing I've heard that those subject to death deserve what they get because of what they did. I've also heard people talk about the opiate addiction, and they say, why are we spending all this time and money on the drugs? Why? The simple reason is it's about real people. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your testimony. Are there any questions from the committee? Seeing none, thank you very much.